our early week 7 waiver wire looks. As we hit these, that thumbs up button would be so greatly appreciated. Wolfpack.
Kick off in just a couple minutes, guys.
Some of these guys you've heard if you've been here for the whole show, but let's dive right back in to repeat a few of them. Kenyan Drake, 4% rostered, saw 10 carries, 119 yards, and a score, playing 34 of the 59 snaps, 18 of the 36 routes, 10 of the 22 carries, became a pseudo bell cow. I imagine Edwards is waiting in the wings if Dobbins misses time. Maybe they elevate Mike Davis a little bit more. Still, Drake looks so damn good, I imagine he's going to see some work moving forward.
Speaking, you want to take a stab into the tight end, the deep end of the tight end pool. Daniel Bellinger, 2% owned, 5 catches, 5 targets, 38 yards, and a touchdown. We talked about him before. You could do a lot worse, people. Give him a shot.
Don't find a lot of tight ends seeing 20% target shares, especially ones that are increasing the routes each and every week. They're using them in the backfield at times too. Creative usage for a plus athlete. The tight end position, like you were saying, Truth, that you can do a whole lot worse. Speaking of the Giants, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah.
He only played 35% of the passing plays, but was targeted on 36% of those with an average depth of target of 9.3. That was huge numbers that suggest this role could be elite moving forward. 3 catches, 37 yards, and a score on the day. So made the most of his limited work. 13 of his 15 snaps and 11 personnel. You imagine if he can get in those 2 receiver sets now and not just be a strictly slot guy. They did move him around a bit too. Primary team slot, though, has been targeted heavily for Daniel Jones this year. So I really like Wan'Dale. He looked electric out there on his touches. Of all the names we're talking about, he's probably the most intriguing talent. If I could just kind of stash him and let's see what happens.
I'm really tempted to do Wan'Dale Robinson right now since you skipped Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I want to show that I was listening this time.
Yeah,
he's only 15% owned. He caught 4 balls on 5 targets, 74 yards in the Browns' loss to the Patriots. Doesn't excite me too much. I know the Wolf owns a lot of Donovan Peoples-Jones stock from back when he thought Deshaun Watson was going to be their quarterback.
Hey, but that's the real play here is, one, you're getting some standalone bye-week fill-ins. He's had 9 or more fantasy points in over half of his games so far this year, and that's with Jacoby Brissett. Deshaun Watson, top-graded PFF deep passer, his last full season out. He's always thrown a gorgeous deep ball. So Peoples-Jones could be unlocked even further, trying to get ahead and get there before Deshaun Watson arrives. We mentioned Tunyon, 12 targets. This guy is just around the 20% owned mark, 10 catches on 12 targets, 90 yards, season high. Route participation was 74% today, 27% target share. Knowing he was coming off an injury, maybe this was like the sign that he's fully recovered rather from that knee injury and ready to turn it on. I would probably prefer him to Daniel Bellinger for sure. This is a player we've seen get it done. This would be probably my top tight end of the week to pick.
We talked about the deep end of the tight end pool. Now let's go to the deep end of the wide receiver pool. Tyquan Thornton, 1% owned. If you're in a league where this guy's already owned, you're in the vast, vast minority of leagues here. He ended up being the 3rd wide receiver over the course of the rest of the game after some injuries. He was targeted 5 times by Bailey Zappi. 4 receptions on those 5 targets, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Not too shabby.
No, not too shabby at all. Electric player, the fastest player in this year's class. Looked great all preseason, was getting rave reviews in training camp, and now we got injuries to Kendrick Bourne, to Nelson Aguilar. They already wanted this kid to be involved, but seeing a nice 73% of the routes, 17% target share, target rate was 19%, and he also got 10% of the rushes. He's had the most carries other than Ramondre Stevenson today. Electric kid, electric player. The team clearly wants to get him the ball, so definitely like him moving forward. Especially Bailey Zappi keeps singing it. 2 more tight ends that I wanted to touch upon was Mike Gesicki. We mentioned him, 24% rostered, saw 7 targets, 69 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The big thing, again, was 75% of route participation. That was at 57, then 66, and now 75. So we've seen it increase each and every week. It resulted in 16% target share. So if we can keep that type of 70% or so routes, Gesicki's a plus athlete, maybe sucks at grittying, as you mentioned, but ultimately a guy that
He's
could give you plus numbers at the in a good offense, touchdown bet every single week.
Sammy Watkins, got him down here, 8% owned. He's actually on the IR, and we're monitoring this with Randall Cobb's health. I got to say, this one doesn't do much for me. It seems to me that the Packers' passing game and just offense in general is stagnant to the point where I'm not looking for someone who's going to be a third banana. It seems to me Lazard and Romeo Doubs, maybe to a lesser degree, and then you got your running backs, are going to be swooping up a lot of the Packers balls, of which there's not too many even being thrown or completed or anything like that. But if you're interested in, the slot guy for the Packers, Watkins will be coming back from IR before too long. maybe give him a look. What do you think? Do you think he's worth a look even? I don't
See,
really.
last time out, he went 3 catches on 4 targets, 93 yards, led
That's
the
true.
team. So he had a good rapport with Rodgers before he went down. And yeah, Dubs have that 1 or 2 big games, but it doesn't seem like he's really come in and taken just a stranglehold on that role. So maybe Sammy Watkins does come in to a nice target share. I think it's worth, as you can tell, we're kind of grasping at straws here. Yeah. There's not much on the waiver wire early on this week. Jerick McKinnon did play a good amount of the snaps, led the team in rushing, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. Receiving for running backs. He had 3 catches for 29 yards. Clyde was there, led the way with 9 for 33. But that was pretty hideous. That was.
I wonder if I was right. Remember when Katie Jiggs asked my opinion on 4 terrible running backs, and I said go with McKinnon. I wonder if he ended up being the top guy because they were all pretty awful.
He may have been. I also think I've ran away with that game.
Okay, good. Well, I didn't want her to. I didn't want my pick to lose the game for it. Sounds like it didn't.
Yeah, and the last waiver wire pick I'd have to mention is Allen Robinson. Now I don't know what his actual league ownership is at. I know I dropped him anywhere I had him. Get him out of the locker room. And how did he respond today? Truth, 5 catches, 63 yards and a touchdown. Looked actually kind of good today for the first time.
It looked like he had a little swag about him.
Yeah, a little swag about him. He was rubbing it in my face. Like, why'd you drop me? So double check your league. See if there's any idiots like me in there that just gave up on Robinson too quick.
But are we idiots?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I did not leave that being like, oh, I'm an idiot.
No. And what if people start blowing their fab to go get him, or like top waiver claims, kind of like a little bait, a little tempting.
You can have him. I'm not going back and trying to get him on my team.
No,
I'm not doing that.
No, nor should you probably. We already mentioned a bunch of tight ends too, but the last one to keep your eyes on at a position we're always looking for something viable, K to Otten. Now, it's mostly because Cameron Brake got hurt. We came right back in, 2 catches on 3 targets, 23 yards. Brady loves going to this guy whenever he's in. And remember, just last week when Brake was out, 94% of the routes, 94% of the snaps, 87% of the routes, more than any other Bucs player. He had good chemistry showing with Brady, 6 for 47 in that extended action. So wouldn't be shocked if Brake misses more time than expected now with back-to-back concussions the last 2 times he's been out. You got to imagine he won't be out for a little while here now. So K. Otten, I could see being a decent tight end for the future. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.